Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I hope you're doing well. And tonight, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to give it another minute or two while people are logging in and getting started. In the meantime, I just want to make sure our technology is working. If you hear me clearly, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Drop a yes in the chat so I know the audio is coming through. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Great. Good to see that. Okay, you can hear me. Yes. All right. Well, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to see everybody is joining me tonight. While people are continuing to log in, I love to know where you're coming from. Go ahead and drop a location in the chat. It's always fun to see where people are tuning in from. Let's see. It looks like we have people from Okay. All right. So let's see. Hollywood, North Hollywood. Great. Echo Park. Beautiful. Pasadena. Lovely. All right. Inglewood. Beautiful. All right. Great. Santa Monica. Okay. Culver City. Okay. Thank you for coming. San Diego. Oh boy, that's pretty far, but hey, welcome to LA. It looks like we're about ready to start. So what I'd like to do is to, um, now that it's top of the hour, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. And I just want to let you know I've titled this webinar First Time Buyer's Class Avoid Those Costly Mistakes. But honestly, it could just as easily be called How to Stay in Control in One of the Most Competitive Markets in the Country. Now, because buying your first home, especially here, can feel overwhelming. But tonight, my goal is to make sure it's cleaner, simpler, and a lot less intimidating. Let's move forward. If you want to keep your camera off, that's totally fine. But I do want to feel interactive. I hate feeling I'm up here talking to myself. So make sure you get your questions in as we go. We will stack those up and knock them out as many questions as possible at the end. By the way, I know everyone can't stay the whole time. And if you know you want to circle up with me and get your individual questions answered and find out what types of programs you qualify for and create a plan to purchase a home, I'm going to post a link in the chat right now to get you guys on my calendar. Here's the link. Very easily. Yeah, go ahead. You can click on it, make an appointment if you have to leave, or you can click on it anytime. In the meantime, let's keep going. All right. So if you're a first-time buyer, how do you feel right now? How's this process working for you? Well, are you scared? Are you feeling concerned, uncertain? All of those are very natural. Absolutely. This is the biggest investment of your life. So I imagine you're feeling a little anxious. So go ahead and drop a word or two in the chat and let me know how you're feeling. Okay, scared? Okay. Yeah, okay, a little anxious. Okay. Excited. Beautiful. That's the way to be. But these things are all very natural to feel because you are making a huge investment in yourself. So thank you for participating. Now, one of my goals tonight is that at the end of the webinar, you'll feel clearer and more confident about the process and what about your next steps could look like. I want to ask you some questions for yourself. What do you want? What does owning a home mean to you? What kind of lifestyles are you building here in LA, and what would that look like? At the end of tonight, my goal is simple. You'll understand how this market really works. You'll know what mistakes not to make, and you'll feel confident not to rush when it's time to making your move. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up. Great. All right. Thumbs up. Absolutely. Great. I like that. Yeah. No, you really want to feel more confident. You're going to do that. Perfect. More confident, less anxious now. Good deal. All right. Let's keep going. So if you stay for the entire webinar tonight, I get it. If you can't stay because Los Angeles is fast and you're fast and furious, need to go someplace, I get that too. So be sure to click on that link so we can make a one-on-one appointment and talk about your situation. It's no pressure, no obligation, just a focused conversation about your situation, your goals, and your timeline, and what makes sense to you in this market. And by a thank you, I'll be giving you a digital book, my book, of the complete guide to buying a home. It's designed specifically to help first-time buyers understand the process step by step so you can make smart decisions whether you work with me or not. It's okay. My goal tonight is simply clarity, confidence, and control. Let's keep going. So, what's our agenda? Who am I? First, I'll share a little about myself so you know who's guiding you through the journey. Secondly, I'll cover some common mistakes to avoid when buying a home. These are crucial insights to how you can save money and time. Third, I'm going to walk you through the 5 essential steps that to buying a home, and I'll be breaking down these steps so you feel confident and prepared. After that, we'll have a Q&A session, and this is your chance to ask questions so you might have a feeling. So feel free to jot them down so that we can go over them at the end of the session. Now, finally, for those who want an in-depth personalized advice, here's your opportunity to schedule a one-on-one appointment. So, are we ready? Let's dive in and make an informed and enjoyable session. Oh, I'm Herbert McGurk, by the way. I'm a seasoned real estate broker associate. 23 years in the industry has taught me one thing. People don't need an agent. They need an advocate. Buying a home for the first time can feel intimidating. Contracts, inspections, negotiations. It's a lot. But here's the good news. You don't have to figure it out alone. I'm here to simplify it, strategize it, and celebrate it with you. Because when you win, I win. Sound good? Let's keep going. We all have a why or should. Now, my first big whys includes my involvement in volunteer organizations. I spent a lot of my time uh, with volunteer organizations. I'm actually running most of the ones I'm in. For USA Dance, it's a ballroom dance organization. We dance in Culver City once a month, and I rent out the auditorium, and we have a great time. And this is a national organization, and I'm the LA chapter. I also run CBZ Reboot, which is an organization that provides dance and movement programs for K through 12 kids. And we go to Compton, we go to LAUSD, we also go to special needs schools. And the other organization that I'm a chair of is called the Rotary Club of Los Angeles. And in that, I chair a committee that provides fresh drinking water for Southeast Asia and underserved villages. So, but the last commitment, of course, is my wife, Samantha. Now, these are not just affiliations. They reflect my passion for the community engagement and personal growth. I've honed my skills that allows me to provide exceptional service. But there's more. I commit by giving 10% of my commission to a charity of your choice in your name when we complete a transaction. This isn't just about transactions. It's about creating a legacy for you and fostering a better community for my clients. Now, together, we can make a meaningful impact while achieving our real estate goals. Let's keep going. After hundreds of transactions across Los Angeles County, and here's what I know for sure. Most buyers don't lose because of the market. They lose because of mistakes. Not understanding the leverage in a multi-offer situation, not knowing when to push and when to pause, not preparing their financing correctly, and not having a strategy before you fall in love with the property. In a market like ours, that's the difference between winning and spending a lot of money for no reason. So here's the good news. Every single one of these mistakes is preventable. It's not about luck. It's about preparation. It's about positioning, and it's about control. And that's exactly what we're going to fix today. I can tell you something that most agents won't shout out loud. Over 80% of first-time buyers end up with the wrong house or the wrong deal or both. Not because they were careless, but because, or not because they were not smart, but because they didn't know what to look for when they fell in love with the property. Now, their choice was based upon emotion and not strategy. They reacted instead of planned. They focused on the kitchen and ignored the contract. So, in a market like Los Angeles County, that can cost you. So my job today is simple: to spot issues before they become expensive surprises. As we move forward, remember this: being proactive and informed is our best strategy. Let's make sure we make decisions that fit your goals, lifestyle, and future. Does that sound good? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Thumbs up. Great. Thank you, Dee. Excellent. All right. John, thank you. All right. William, Tanya, beautiful. And that's what it's all about: fitting your future, because this is an important step that you need to make, and I'm going to help you get there. So, the first mistake we all see all the time: first time buyers don't fully understand the advantage of programs created specifically for them. And in California, especially here in Los Angeles County, that's a big miss. There are programs designed to make purchase more affordable, programs that help with down payment assistance, programs that reduce upfront costs, programs that create leverage you didn't even know you had. Why? Because you don't know they'd exist. So they buyers assume they won't qualify, or no one took the time to explain it to them. Here's the truth: some of these programs can mean difference between waiting for 2 more years or buying this year. They can mean keeping more money in your savings, lowering your monthly payments, or strengthening your offer in a competitive situation. These programs exist to help you. If you're not exploring them properly, you could literally be leaving money on the table. So let's take a few minutes and break down what's available and how to determine which ones actually make sense to you. Because when you understand your options, the process stops feeling overwhelming and more relaxed. And that feeling is possible. It is absolutely possible. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Some of these programs offer interest rates that are lower than the open market. That alone can mean hundreds of dollars less per month and potentially tens of thousands of dollars saved over the life of your loan. Now, and this is important, some programs do come with strings attached. For example, you may be required to live in a home for a certain number of years. That's by design. These programs are built for homeowners, not short-term flips or quick moves. Many have income limits. Again, that's intentional. They're structured to support buyers who might otherwise struggle to break into the competitive market like Los Angeles County. And here's the part that really gets people's attention: some programs allow little or no down payment. That's right. So when people say, you need 20% down to buy a home, this is simply not true. So many buyers wait. So here's what I want to show you and for you to understand. Just because a program exists doesn't mean it's automatically the right one for you. The right strategy depends on your income, your timeline, your job stability, your lifestyle, your long-term goals. When you understand how these programs actually work, you stop guessing. You stop relying on outdated information, like advice from family and friends, which is not a bad thing, but again, it's better to be well informed and start making strategic, informed decisions. And that's how you win the market. Now, these programs can dramatically change your entire financial picture. And here's what most buyers have absolutely no idea about. In some cases, you can stack programs. That means you're not just choosing one benefit. You are able to layer multiple programs together strategically. Now that we're talking about small savings, let's talk about real money. For example, some programs come in the form of federal and state tax benefits that can put money back in your pocket year after year, reducing your overall cost of ownership. Yes, money back annually. Others are down payment grants, not loans, not pay it back later programs, actual grants. That can mean thousands of dollars towards your purchase, money that reduces how much you bring or need to bring in. Some of these incentives were created to address unfair lending practices decades ago, intentionally expanding access to homeownership in communities that were previously underserved. And here's the interesting thing. There are the profession-based programs. This is amazing. Community hero programs. That applies to teachers, first responders, firefighters, police officers, healthcare professionals, doctors and nurses, veterans, active duty military, and public service workers. Depending on what you do for a living, that could be benefits designed specifically for you. Do you have anybody, do we have anybody on the call that is a community hero? If you could, please post it in the chat. Okay, teachers. Okay. A teacher. All right. Very good. Thank you. Active military. Thank you for your service. Police. Okay. Social worker. Beautiful. All of these positions, all of these heroes have a place and have a benefit, and which is called the Heroes Program. If you think you might qualify, feel free to book me a call and I'll reserve a situation. I'll review your situation together. All these opportunities don't automatically apply. They have to be identified. You have to qualify, and you have to be structured correctly within your financial strategy. When you understand how layers of these programs are intentionally, you don't just buy a home, you optimize how you buy it. And that's how the game's played intellectually and intelligently and in this market like ours. Moving forward, quick question. Raise your hand if you enjoy leaving thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Give me a response in the chat. No, wait, no way. No, 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 no. Okay, I get it. Exactly. Nobody wants to work this hard just to give money away. And yet, that's exactly what happens when buyers don't understand the programs, credits, and strategies available to them. This isn't about being lucky, it's about being informed. Now, a quick reminder, if you can't stay on the entire session tonight, no problem. Go to the link in the chat and book a one-on-one session. All right, let's keep going and building your advantage. While we're on the topic of first-time buyer programs, let's talk about your bank. For most people, the first instinct is simple. I'll go to the bank where I have a checking account. That makes sense, right? You already have a relationship. It feels familiar. It feels safe. But here's what most first-time buyers don't realize. Large national banks don't always prioritize first-time buyer programs, especially in Los Angeles and County. Sometimes they offer limited access to local assistant programs, don't specialize in layering multiple programs together, and have slower underwriting processes in competitive markets. Now, it depends on your relationship and specifically your bank. Yes, some banks do a solid job. If you've known somebody for many, many years and you trust them, you know them, they know you, just ask them for these programs, and I'm sure they'll turn them up for you. Now, there are other options, and they are mortgage brokers, local lenders who work on these programs every single day. They know how to navigate the guidelines. They know how to structure files strategically, and they know how to move fast when it matters. Now, here's the secret sellers and listing agents care about most. And I think you'll be surprised. It's not always about the highest price. They want certainty. They want to know your lender can close on time. They want to know your financing is solid. And they want to know your team communicates quickly and clearly. Price matters, of course, but in a competitive Los Angeles market, terms, contingency, speed, and flexibility often are one. And that's what everybody is looking to do. Listing agents also notice experience. They will trust buyers backed by agents and lenders with a proven record of closing reliably. And flexibility. Flexibility matters. Small things like accommodating inspection timing, clean paperwork, responsive communication can make your offer stand out in a stack of 10. So remember this, if you're not, it's not about the size of your bank, it's about the confidence of your team that inspires. Okay, mistake number 2. And this is a big one. This is extremely big. Not getting pre-approval for a loan. Too many first-time buyers jump into home hunting without knowing what they can truly afford. And that's a costly mistake. A loan, a pre-approval, isn't optional, it's essential. It gives you a clear, realistic budget and positions you as a serious prepared buyer. In a competitive market, sellers don't take chances. Sellers don't take chances. They choose buyers who are ready to act, and a pre-approval proves you are. There are 2 terms you'll hear throughout the home buying process, pre-qualification and pre-approval. They sound familiar, but they are not the same, and understanding the difference matters. Let's start with pre-qualification. It's quick, high-level estimate of how much you might be able to borrow. It's based largely on information you provide, like income, debts, assets, and in some cases, that information isn't fully verified. There's no credit check, or if there is, it's a soft check that doesn't impact your score. Because of this, pre-qualification is fast, often completed in minutes, especially online. And it's helpful starting point when you're 6 to 12 months or a year out, giving you a general sense where you stand, but it's not strong enough to compete when it's time to make an offer. The pre-approval means a lender has already your income, credit, debit, and financial documents, and they've given you an estimate of how much they're willing to lend you on a home. Without a pre-approval, a few problems can happen. First, you might fall in love with the home that's outside your budget. That can mean really frustrating to you, and later find out the bank won't approve that price. Second, in competitive markets, Sellers don't take offers more seriously than buyers when they're not pre-approved. If two people make an offer, one is pre-approved letter while the other doesn't, the seller will always choose the buyer who is already approved. And third, pre-approval helps you shop with confidence. You know your price range, you know your estimated monthly payments, and you can move quickly when you find the right house. So, before you start touring homes and making offers, the smart first step is to talk to a lender and get pre-approved. It saves time, avoids disappointment, and puts you in a much stronger position when it's time to buy. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Is anybody pre-approved? Want to be? Okay. Will be? Okay. A pre-approved? Great. Terrific. These are all very important things to have, but pre-approval is essential when purchasing a home. So here's some tips for simple loan approval. What happens when you get a loan approval? During the process, here are some do's and don'ts, and let's keep moving smoothly. First, the things you do want. Continue living in your current residence and keep paying your mortgage or rent as usual. Use your credit normally. Keep your work at your current employer and stay with your current insurance company. It's also important to stay current in all your existing accounts. Throughout the process, you may receive requests for additional documentation, and that's completely normal. So just be prepared to provide these if needed. Now, a few things you want to avoid during this time. Try not to make any large purchases. Avoid changing bank accounts or making large deposits. Don't transfer balances between credit cards, close any credit card accounts, or consolidate your debt into just one or two credit cards. It's also important not to allow or not to apply for new credit. Take out a new loan or co-sign for a loan for somebody else. Finally, be careful not to max out your overcharge any of your credits or credit card accounts. Following these guidelines will help ensure your loan process can stay on track and close as smoothly as possible. How are we doing so far? Okay. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're still there and haven't left. Okay. Got it. All right. Getting approved. Okay. I love to hear that. Okay. Mistake number 3 is skipping a home inspection. One of the biggest mistakes first-time buyers make is skip the home inspection. Not a good idea. A home might look perfect on the surface, freshly painted walls, flooring, beautiful kitchen, but what you can't see ends up costing you thousands of dollars later. A home inspection is a professional evaluation of the property's condition. And inspectors look at the major systems of your home are things like the roof, the plumbing, electrical, HVAC or air conditioning, foundation, and structural components. Their job is to identify potential problems before they realized in the purchase. You don't want to finalize your purchase and know that something has come up and not working. Without an inspection, buyers sometimes discover serious issues after they've already closed on the home. For example, a roof falling, hidden water damage, outdated electrical systems, or foundation cracks. Repairs like those that can be easily cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're not looked after or identified before you purchase the home. Another reason inspections are important is because they give you negotiating power. That's a strong thing. Remember, inspections give you negotiating power. If the inspector finds issues, you may be able to ask the seller to make repairs, provide a credit towards closing, or to adjust the purchase price. Sometimes buyers feel pressured to skip the inspection in a competitive market, but that can be a very risky decision, especially for first-time buyers. Think of a home inspection as a safety net. It helps you understand exactly what you're buying and protects you from unexpected surprises. Buying a home without an inspection is a little like buying a car without looking under the hood. It looks beautiful on the outside, but not knowing what's underneath can really cost you. Now, a quick reminder, if you can't stay on the entire session tonight, no problem. Go to my link and we can book a one-on-one session and we can talk about your situation one-on-one. And again, everything I say is completely confidential. And I will also give you a book called The Complete Guide of the Home Buying. So click on the link if you'd like to join. Okay, here's the thing average first home buyers do. The average home buyers don't dig deep enough in the numbers. Monthly payments, closing costs, taxes, HOA fees, long-term equity, and it all feels overwhelming, so they avoid it. And here's the key. You're not average. You're here to understand the numbers, not fear them, because when you know the real costs, the real risks, and the real opportunities, you can take control of your purchase instead of letting it control you. Now, let's break down exactly what numbers matter and how to use them to your advantage. Closing costs aren't mysterious. They are just fees and upfront expenses involved in buying a home. They typically include A, fees for title companies, lenders, rate buydowns, and sometimes HOA fees. B, one-time funding fees, VA loans, or upfront mortgage insurance, FHA loans. C, prepaid taxes, homeowners insurance, and other upfront items. Understanding costs upfront can prevent surprises and help you plan your budget wisely. So let's be honest, closing costs add up fast. Even in a modest home, they can run thousands of dollars, sometimes 2 to 5% of the purchase price. That's why understanding them before you write an offer isn't optional, it's critical. Knowing this upfront helps you plan, negotiate, and avoid surprises at the finish line. So if you're doing this webinar 2 years ago, when the first-time buyers were asking their parents for hundreds of thousands of dollars from retirement accounts or just to pay over asking, I would have told you straight up, you're going to need some serious cash to make this work. Oh boy, have the tables turned. It was a seller's market, no question, but it's slowly turning into a buyer's market because inventory is tight, but sellers are not selling. So here's the silver lining. Aren't you glad you didn't buy when everybody else was scrambling and overpaying? Patience, strategy can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in this market. So here's the truth. There's one thing most buyers fail to do. If you get this one thing right, a lot of other mistakes could possibly fix themselves. That one thing, hiring a gladiator. I've seen so many agents and buyers that don't seem to communicate together that you wonder why that 80% of them weren't happy with what they got. So sometimes someone in your corner is fighting for your deal, protects your interest, and keeps you in the process on track. It isn't optional. This is a difference between winning smart and paying way more than you need to. Okay, because in Los Angeles, where the market moves extremely fast and stakes are high, having a true advocate is non-negotiable. Now, what do I mean by an advocate? I mean, I'm stuck. So, an advocate is a gladiator. Any dummy can open a door, but that doesn't win your home in Los Angeles County. Despite what you see on TV, showing homes is not only 2% of what I do, but my real job is picking up a sword and fighting for you. Here in Los Angeles, multiple offers are not the norm, but the exception. Buyers without strategy lose homes fast. Sellers push back hard on price and terms. They negotiate fiercely, their price reduction, seller credits, inspection repairs, contingency protection. These are all things that you need to push back on the seller because the seller is going to push back on you as hard as they can. That's how you win in LA. My job is to protect you from the wrong decision. If you see a house priced above market value, a risky inspection report, a neighborhood that doesn't fit your goals, and a financing issue about to become a problem, I'm going to say stop. I'm going to step in and say just stop, even if you're excited, because in LA, a bad decision can cost you tens of thousands of dollars or more. Would you want an agent who fights for your deal and protects you from bad investments in LA? Give me a yes in the chat and let me know what type of representative you like. Yes, yes. Okay. Double yes. Got it. Great. Of course you do. We all do. We all want somebody to help and to fight for us. That's what we want. Now, what do gladiators do differently? Well, when they say it's impossible, I take that personally. In Los Angeles County, inventory is tight. The best homes move fast, and some of the best ones never hit the MLS. I don't wait. I don't call. I call. I do call. I network. I knock, and I create opportunity. The very first sale I had 23 years ago in LA was by knocking on a door of a house and asking the owner if they wanted to sell. They gave me a number, and I went back to my client, and we went into escrow in 1 week and closed. My client is still in the same home today after 23 years. So while others scroll listings and I strategize, while others hope, I execute. What do gladiators do? I don't accept no, and I find a way. That's the difference. Does that sound good? Do you want a gladiator working for you? Let me know in the chat. Great. Great. Of course. Yes. 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 Yeah. Okay. Good to hear. Because that's what I do. All right. Now we're going to simplify this whole buying process. I'm going to walk you through how to buy a home in a few clear, easy steps. But we're going to look at it through one specific lens. How much money do you or don't you need at each step? Because that's the question everybody is really wondering. What do I need? How much cash do I need? What is flexible and what is negotiable? By the time we're done, you'll have a solid estimate of how much you should realistically set aside to make this work. And if you want to sharpen that number even further, we can always dial it in during a one-on-one conversation. Here's the link. Now, take notes. So step one, let's dive into step one, understanding the cost of buying a home. The question everybody is thinking, how much do I need in the beginning? I mean, this is a totally fair question, but understand throwing out a scary number, let's try to break it down to a smart way. We're going to look at three things. Who is going to ask you for money? How much money are they going to need? And when are these payments due? Because timing matters just as much as total amount. In a typical transaction, you may encounter the lender, the escrow or title company, the inspector, the appraiser. Each plays a different role and each is paid a different time. When you understand the sequence, everything feels less overwhelming because frustration creates stress. Clarity creates confidence. By the end of this session, you'll know what to expect, you'll know when to expect it, and how to prepare without panic. Focus on these three anchors: who, how much, and when. That's how you stay in control financially. So before you buy a home, you have to get financially in shape. When I say in shape, I don't mean perfect, I mean prepared. This is the groundwork phase, the planning that makes everything smoother once you're ready to make a move. The key point, number one, is to establish your real budget, not just what you qualify for, not just what Zillow says, what you're truly comfortable with each month. That means understanding your current savings, your monthly income and expenses, and any upfront cost involved in assembling a team. Point number two, account for preparation costs. Sometimes there's a small expense at this stage, things like financial consultation, credit strategy sessions, education resources, inspections, preliminary evaluations. Think of this phase as building your foundation. Putting the right team around you isn't an expense, it's an investment in your future. Because when you're ready to make an offer, you want to do it with a position of strength, not scrambling. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if that makes any sense. Great. Yes, yes, yes. Double, I love the double thumbs up. That's great. All right. In this next section, we'll break down the actual numbers and we'll get a little surprise for you when you come to know who gets paid and when. Let's keep going. That's right. $0. Getting financially prepared, building your strategy, and assembling the right team costs you nothing. Most first-time buyers assume they need to start writing checks just to begin the conversation. They don't. There's the planning phase, the consultation, the strategy sessions. That's where clarity happens, not invoices. Because this is important, you shouldn't have to pay just to understand your options. Step one is about information, positioning, and preparation. Now, let's move to the first point where money actually does enter the picture, so you know exactly what to expect. So, first, commissions are negotiable. And here's the good news. That means you're not writing a check just to hire me to represent you. And what really matters, I don't get paid unless and until I put keys in your hand. No closing, no paycheck. That structure is ideal for you because it means our goals are completely aligned. I am a highly motivated individual to help you find the right house, negotiate the strongest terms, protect you from costly mistakes, and to get you all the way to the finish line. When I win, when you win, I win. We all win. That's exactly how it should be. Now, we're at a moment where money actually enters the picture. When we find the home and execute a purchase offer, you're going to be asked to submit earnest money deposit, or EMD. This is your skin in the game. It shows sellers you're serious. In our market, it's commonly around 3% of the purchase price, but that number is negotiable and part of the strategy. Now, here's the part most buyers don't understand. The earnest money deposit is refundable up to and before you release your contingencies. So let's use a purchase price of $949,000 as a home example, and actually the average home price in Los Angeles. So if we're talking about a typical 3% deposit, that money can and would be about $28,470. Now, I know that sounds like a big number, but remember, this is refundable as long as you don't relieve your contingencies. And generally, you have three main contingencies protecting you. Your loan contingency, if your financing isn't approved. Your appraisal contingency, if the property doesn't appraise at value. and your inspection contingency if the issues are discovered during inspection. As long as you don't remove these contingencies, your earnest money deposit is returned to you. And that's why understanding the timeline and the strategy behind contingency removal is critical. This isn't about blindly risking 28,470. It's about knowing exactly when you're protected and when you're not. And that's where experience matters. Step two. Now, we make sure the deal has legs because the deal has to have legs. It has to be able to go through contract. There are these contingencies that you want to be able to get through in order to purchase the property. So getting into contract is exciting, but now the real work begins. This is a phase where we verify that the home is exactly worth moving forward. First up, home inspection. This is typically $500 to $700. And this will also be paid by the buyer. Now, it's not generally certain loan. If you're using a certain loan and you also need to make, sometimes these loans will say, be sure to have a termite inspection, or we need you to have some other inspection. But the termite inspection is generally about $400. So your home inspection is about $500 to $700. If you needed a termite inspection would be about $400. Now, here's where it can expand. Depending on the home, you may want a secondary inspection, like let's check out the pool, septic, stucco, roof, HVAC or air conditioning, foundation, plumbing. Costs vary, and sometimes the seller may cover certain inspections. That's part of the negotiation strategy. So this step isn't about spending. It's about protecting the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars you want to invest. Inspections are how we make sure the deal actually has legs before you move forward confidently. Now we've reviewed the inspection results, and this is where the strategy kicks in. Based on what we find, you're going to do one of three things. You're going to, one, terminate the contract. If the issues are too big or the seller doesn't cooperate, we cancel. We get our earnest money back and we go find a better house. Not emotional, just smart decision making. Option two, request for repairs. We typically pick about 2 or 3 meaningful items. The seller agrees to fix them before closing, and they will usually provide receipts and warranties. This keeps your upfront cash the same, but improves the property. Option three, negotiate a credit. Instead of repairs, sometimes there's a smarter move. Instead of the seller fixing things, they give you a credit at closing. That credit can reduce your cash needed to close, covering costs, closing costs, and even used to buy down on your interest rate. This is where experience matters, because the goal isn't just to win repairs. The goal is to structure the outcome in a way that benefits you financially, and how we make sure the deal makes sense before you move forward. Are you with me? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Gotcha. Thumbs up. I love that. I love it. That's great. All right. Once the inspection and negotiations are done, things get very quiet. Then your lender will send requests for an appraisal. Typical cost for appraisal is $600 to $700, and this could be your cue to verify value, not go shopping. Remember, this is not a time to buy a bunch of furniture or a Land Rover. True story. The appraisal protects you. It ensures the home is actually worth what you agreed to pay, and that your financing is on solid ground. Keep calm, stay focused, and resist the temptation to spend before you officially win the keys. This is your last step before you remove all your contingencies. If the property appraises for the price you offered, you have completed the final step towards owning your new home. Congratulations, you made it. You made it to closing. This is the finish line. Here's what happens next. You wire your down payment to escrow. You pay any remaining closing costs. You sign financial documents or the final documents, and you get the keys. And just like that, the home is officially yours. What about closing costs? Okay, closing costs are upfront expenses required to finalize your purchase. In Los Angeles County, they can typically run between 2 to 5% of the purchase price. They may also include loan-related fees, such as lender charges, underwriting charges, and appraisal, title and escrow fees, prepaid property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA transfer fees, if applicable. Some of these can be negotiated. Some can be covered by the seller. That's the part of the strategy. Closing costs aren't random fees. They are payments to ensure the title is clear, the loan is secured, and the property is legally transferred, and you are fully protected. When you understand them up front and close with confidence, not surprises, who wants to get in that step? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay. A lot of you guys really want a home. That's great. Good news. All right. That's what I'm trying to do, help you get there. All right. Now, will every tactic work that I've mentioned here? No. Not every offer gets accepted. Not every counter goes our way. And not every battle is clean. But I don't stop. I adjust, I pivot, I strategize, and I push until the problem submits. Because in Los Angeles, persistence wins. When it's over, keys in your hand, smile on your face, home secured, battle won. How does that feel with everyone? Give me a little thumbs up if that feels good to you. Now, do you feel a little more confident, a little less scared, a little less worried? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Still scared, but less and more confident. Okay. That's great. Okay. Ready? I'm ready for it. Let's go. All right. Glad to hear that. Moving on here. Let's recap on what we discussed today. We've covered a lot of valuable information to help you make your home buying journey a success. So let's quickly recap the key points from our webinar. First, remember not to overlook first-time home buyers' incentives. These can provide significant financial benefits and make your purchase more affordable. Next, getting pre-approved. Before you start home shopping and hunting, this is crucial. It not only sets a realistic expectation, but also strengthens your position when you make an offer. Another important step is the home inspection. Never skip it. It can save you from unexpected surprises and costly repairs down the line. Now, don't be intimidated by the numbers. Understanding your budget and mortgage options can empower you to make informed decisions. And finally, hire a gladiator. A skilled real estate agent will be your advocate, guiding you through the process and ensuring to get the best deal possible. Now, these 5 steps form the foundation of a successful purchase price. Keep them in mind when you move forward on your journey. As we wrap up on this webinar, I want to take a moment to reflect on the time we've spent together. Has your time on this free webinar been well spent? Think about the insights you've gained and the questions we've answered. Please let me know your thoughts in the chat. Your feedback helps me improve and ensures our future sessions are even more valuable to you. Give me a message in the chat to see if thumbs up. Yes, this worked. Okay, yes. All right. Good to see. All right. It was good. It was valuable. Terrific. You're welcome. Absolutely. This is what I plan to do. Now, let's delve into the actionable steps you can make after today's webinar. First, book a call with me to discuss your unique situation. This is a personalized opportunity to address any specific questions or concerns you might have about the home buying process. Click on the link and in the chat and schedule an appointment. Secondly, getting pre-approved is crucial. It not only helps you understand what you can afford, but also strengthens your position when making an offer. Imagine the confidence you'll have knowing exactly where you stand financially. And finally, the exciting part, getting the home, shopping for a home, and looking for your dream home. This is where you can envision your future and explore the possibilities that lie ahead. Remember, this is a journey about finding a place where you will truly call home. These steps are designed to empower you. Let's take one more time together by booking a call and ensuring that you will get where you're going. All right, thank you for attending. I appreciate you taking the time to join my first time buyers webinar. The next step is to move forward and to book a quick appointment with me. We'll talk about your goals and help you take the next steps towards home ownership. And thank you for attending. You'll receive a digital copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Buying a Home. And if you prefer a printed copy, it's available for $19.95. Thanks again for being here. I look forward to helping you on your home ownership journey. All right. Like I said, we're going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes answering any questions you'll have. So go ahead and make your questions in the chat. Okay. All right. What is DTI? DTI is debt to income ratio. It's the percentage of your gross monthly income that goes towards your income, paying your debts. So basically, a percentage of your monthly income that goes towards paying debts. For example, a monthly income of $8,000, the monthly debts, car, credit cards, student loans, projected mortgage, is about $3,200. DTI is 40%, which is 3,200 divided by 8,000. In Los Angeles, lenders will pay very close attention to DTI because the home prices are higher. Typical limits are conventional loans between 42 to 50%. FHA loans are up to about 56% in some cases. And VA loans, flexibility depends on the income and the residential income. Okay, another question here. Is there a best time to buy in Los Angeles? Well, the LA market is active all year round, but there are seasonal trends. Spring and summer, most homes are available. Highest competition and multiple offers are common. In the fall and winter, less inventory. Sellers may be more motivated and potentially less competitive. But in Los Angeles, the best time to buy is when you're financially ready, not just the season. Because we have really quick appreciation. Homes appreciate very quickly and all across the country. LA is the best. All right, how much should I save for a down payment in LA? Because home prices are higher, buyers often assume they need a large down payment, but that's not always true. Typically, there's options. 3 to 5% for conventional first-time buyer programs, 3.5% for FHA loans, and 0% for VA loans, or as I mentioned, the HERO programs. So, for example, if a home costs $750,000, 3% is $22,500, 5% is $37,500. But you must also budget for closing costs and reserves. How can I, oh, can I gift for a, can I get a gift for a down payment? Yes. Many Los Angeles buyers receive family gift funds. Allowed sources such as parents, immediate family, sometimes close relatives. Requirements usually include a gift letter, documentation of the transfer, and proof of funds uh, are not a loan. Okay, anything else? What do we got? Oh, what are closing costs? Well, I mentioned closing costs already. California is typically in the range of 2 to 3.5% for purchase prices. Okay. All right. Underwriting. What is underwriting? Okay. Underwriting is when the lender reviews your financial file and gives you a final loan approval. The underwriter verifies income, employment, credit score, bank statements, down payment, and property appraisal. In Los Angeles, underwriters also reviews whether the home is value support the loan because the property values are very high. All right. So after going through the presentation, how do you feel? Is this a great audience engagement moment or what? This is great. I really do appreciate it. Can I buy and sell a home at the same time? Yes, that happens frequently in Los Angeles. Options include contingent purchase, bridge loans, rent back agreements, and selling first and buying. Many sellers ask for rent back periods of 30 to 60 days. All right. Yes, inspections are important. Uh, what happens if I change my mind after starting the process? If you've submitted an offer yet, if you've submitted an offer, there's no obligation. If you if you if you have an accepted offer, you still can cancel during the contingency periods. The inspection contingency, the appraisal, and the loan contingency. These are standard in many California contracts. How do I get ready to buy? Well, we all know how ready to get pre-approved. But you want to have a stable income, your credit score 620 plus, and you have savings for down payment and closing costs, and you plan to stay in LA for the next 3 to 5 years or longer. Okay. Pre-qualified, pre-approval. We went through that. How does the credit score affect my mortgage? Your credit score affects your mortgage by your interest rates, your loan program eligibility, and monthly payments. Typical ranges between a 740 plus, you get your best rates. A 700 plus, you get stronger borrower. A 620, you get there's a minimum for many loans. And a 580 plus, an FHA is possible. Because LA homes are expensive, even small rate difference matters. What's a typical loan available? Well, the typical loans available are conventional loans from 3 to 5% down, popular for higher priced homes. FHA loan, 3.5% down and flexible credit. FHA loans, zero down for eligible veterans. Jumbo loans, very common in Los Angeles because many homes exceed the loan limits. And those are jumbo loans. Okay. DTI. How do interest rates fluctuate? Mortgage rates change daily due to inflation, Federal Reserve policy, bond markets, economic growth, and economic data. Even a 1% change in rates can change affordability significantly in Los Angeles. Are there first-time buyer programs? Yes, there are. Feel free to give me a call and we'll talk about it. Property taxes, generally about 1.1 to 1.3% of a home annually. So if a home is $800,000, it's about 8,800 to 10,400 per year. Homeowners insurance is typically about 12 to $2,500 a year, depending on the coverage. This is homeowners insurance. Uh, Let's see. Well, I think we've covered a lot. I hope everybody got some value out of this program. And please feel free to make an appointment with me if you'd like to know further or review this. I'll send you a copy of this and feel free if you set an appointment, I will send a copy of my book, The Complete Guide for Buying a Home. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for participating. And I wish you the very best and success in your home buying journey. Thank you and have a great evening.